The month of September has been recognized as Healthy Aging Month. And so for this week's Wellbeing Wednesday, I want to talk about how sleep changes as we age and different factors that impact sleep as we age. We know that there's a part of the brain, the suprachiasmatic nucleus, the SCN, that many think of as a sleep switch. And as light is perceived through the eyes, messages are sent to the brain saying it's light out, it's time to be awake. It's dark out, it's time to be asleep. But what we find is for individuals as they are aging, there is some general natural aging and deterioration that happens with the SCN. This also gets impacted by exposure to light. As individuals enter later stages of life, many times they're not outside as often. They're not exposed to as much daylight, especially those that may be restricted in certain medical facilities. And as they're getting less and less light exposure and changes in light, it's harder for the body to know when to initiate sleep, and it has an impact on circadian rhythm with the times to be awake and alert and times to be sleepy. We also see changes in production of hormones such as melatonin and cortisol that have an impact. As individuals age, they produce less melatonin, which we know starts to be produced more about 4 to 6 hours before bedtime as it starts to get darker. There are also many health conditions that can impact an ability for someone to be able to sleep better. So for instance, we see as individuals become older and more mature, higher levels of depression, anxiety, heart disease, diabetes, and other conditions that can cause difficulty with sleeping. So for instance, we might see more discomfort and pain. We see higher percentages of having the bladder wake someone up, about 80% of older adults having nighttime urination, insomnia, daytime drowsiness, increases in sleep apnea, and other things such as restless leg. We also see, though, that there are many behavioral components that contribute to this. So lifestyle changes that often come with aging, shifting sleep schedules. They don't have to have as much of a routine once they're in retirement. It's great to not have to wake up at a certain time, but when our body isn't going to bed and waking up at the same time every day, it doesn't always get into that pattern to know when to feel tired and when to feel awake, which then contributes to waking up more at night and having longer recovery time from any type of injury. The good news is that there are lots of fixes and things that can be done behaviorally, not just with medication. Increasing exercise can help people to be able to increase that sleep inertia and that sleepiness, to be able to fall asleep faster, sleep longer with less awakenings. Doing things to reduce bedroom distractions, removing televisions, smartphones, adjusting light whenever we wake up in the middle of the night, using night lights instead of overhead lights, keeping that regular, consistent schedule, and developing that bedtime routine to help to trigger the body to know that it's time to sleep. And we also do see that as adults do reach later and later stages of life, as they get into the sleeping disruptions, to be able to help to keep them safe as well. Keeping a phone close to the bed, making sure that there is a light to help with visibility with waking up in the middle of the night, and trying to have a clearer pathway to reduce hazards in the bedroom, so when someone is waking up in the middle of the night, they're less likely to trip and to fall. Be well.